Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to draft a princess dart bustier. If this is your first time of you checking in on this channel, you're welcome. Please consider subscribing because we want to grow this channel. And if there's any part of the tutorial you do not understand, don't forget to drop your question in the comment section because I will try my best to attend to it. So without wasting your time, let's go straight into the video. So from this random line that I've already drawn, I'm going to mark my shoulder to my chest line, which is 8.5 inches, my shoulder to my bust line, which is 10.5 inches, my shoulder to my under bust, which is 14 inches, and my shoulder to the waistline, which is 17 inches. I'm going to be adding half an inch. So I'm going to mark that and then draw a straight line across. So take your accurate measurements and mark them just like I'm doing. So I've done that. I'm just going ahead to label all my lines. So I've labeled my chest line, my bust line, my under bust, and then my waistline. And after that, I went ahead to mark my shoulder measurement divided by 2, which is 7.5 inches. Then I'm going to draw a straight line across to the chest line, which is now the armhole line. And when I was done with that, I went ahead to mark the midpoint. And from that midpoint I marked, I'm going to come in by half an inch before using my curve ruler to connect my armhole curve. So the next thing I did was to mark my neck width, which is 3.5 inches, and 4 inches for my neck depth. And after that, I went ahead to connect my points. So for my shoulder slope, I came down by 1 inch, then I connected it to the neck width, just like you would normally do when you're drafting a basic body. So the next thing I'm going to do is to mark my nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2. I did that on the waistline and on the bust line before going ahead to connect my points. So on this point, which is the under bust, I marked half an inch, and on the waistline I also marked half an inch. Then I connected my points. So on the under bust again, I marked 1.5 inches, and on the waistline I also marked 1.5 inches. Then I went ahead to connect my points. So from the bust point, I'm going to come down by half inch, and from that half inch I will use my curve ruler to connect to the under bust, just like this. So to mark our princess darts, I will mark the midpoint of my armhole line, and from the bust point I will go up by 1 inch. And after doing that, I'm going to connect from this midpoint to the 1 inch I came up with, just like this. So from that midpoint, I'm going to mark 2 inches darts, and I'll also connect it to this point using my curve ruler. And in order to avoid any shortage, I'm going to be extending this line by 2 inches. And that is where my new armhole curve is going to start from. And now that we are done with that, the next thing we are going to do is to mark the bust measurement divided by 4 plus these 2 inches darts. And on the under bust line, I'm going to mark the under bust measurement divided by 4 plus the 2 inches darts. And I'm going to repeat the same process on the waistline before going ahead to connect my points. So the next thing I did was to connect my chest line to this point, and that is my new armhole curve. And now that I've done that, I'm going to add 1.5 inches for my sewing allowance, and after that I will go ahead to cut out my pattern. And now after cutting it, this is what I have. So I'm just going to set this aside and cut the back pattern. So for the back pattern, I've already drawn a random line just like I did for the front pattern, and I've also marked 2 inches for the zipper allowance. So from that zipper line, I marked my shoulder to the chest line, I marked my shoulder to the bust line, and my shoulder to the waist line. And when I was done with that, I went ahead to connect all my markings on a straight line. Now I'm going to mark my shoulder measurement divided by 2, and I'll draw a straight line across. And after that, I'm going to mark my neck width. And for my neck depth, I'm going to mark 1 inch. And after that, I went ahead to connect my point. I also extended it to my zipper line. For the shoulder slope, I came down by 1 inch. Then I connected it to the neck width. For the back armhole curve, I'm going to mark the midpoint, and from that point, I'm going to use my curve ruler to connect to the chest line, and that is the back armhole curve. And always take note that there's a difference between the front armhole curve and the back armhole curve. So the next thing to do is to mark the nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2. So I'll do that on the bust line and on the waistline, and after that, I'll connect my points. So for my waist dart, I'm going to mark ½ an inch on both sides. Then I will connect it to the bust line. And that is it for the back darts. Now on the chest line, I'm going to mark the bust measurement divided by 4 plus 1.5 inches for the sewing allowance. And on the waistline, I'm going to mark the waist measurement divided by 4 plus the 1 inch for darts and 1.5 inches for the sewing allowance. And after that, I'll go ahead to connect my points. And please ensure that if you're drafting directly on your fabric, that you have enough allowance so that you don't run out of fabric, just like I almost run out of pattern paper. And now that I've done that, I'm going to come in by ½ an inch at this point, and I'll connect it to my zipper line. This is going to help get rid of my zipper bulge. And after that, I'll go ahead to cut out my pattern. And in my next video, I'm going to be using this pattern to cut and pad my bustier. So go ahead to subscribe, like, put on your post notification bell so that whenever I upload a new video, you will be notified. Until I see you in my next video, stay blessed.